Hi, everybody. This is Monica Mata Gilliam, and I am joined by the fabulous Mr. Introduce yourself. Mr. Liam Phillips.
Yeah. Sorry, you caught me there. I was just getting my watch to the right time because I know it was 5 minutes behind time. Well, hi, Monica. It feels like it's been like 200 years since I've seen you. It's only been 3 weeks. And I asked everybody in the Receiving from Nature Spirits Facebook page if they would like us to do a short Facebook Live, but that didn't show up. So we decided to do this Zoom on having a chat about nature spirits. I'm not even sure what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, what are people looking for, and what would the nature spirits like to talk to us about today? Cool. You know, it's funny. I did 50 days altogether of working with nature spirits in a pretty focused way in the past few months, and I was just listening to something yesterday from that time, and there was a lot coming up for me in that particular class that I would love to play with today if it's of interest to anybody, just about space and about perceiving the space of the being of the earth, and perceiving and playing with the space that the nature spirits are working within and playing with. So many of us can really kind of contract our zone of awareness, and then we get really focused on just what's right in front of us and might not be listening to everything that includes the whole earth. So that's something that comes up for me. Anything come up for you, Liam?
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting because a part of coming to New Zealand is looking at playing with the nature spirits myself as well. And what I would perhaps like to talk about, and that might match some of the energies that you're talking with, is about native spirits. So the culture, primarily here in New Zealand, the Maori culture or the Maori spirits that have been asked or that have made a decision to look after the land. And so I've had a few interesting things show up in my reality with regards to that. So, and that certainly has created some change in the way that I've been functioning with nature spirits and how actually opening up the space even more.
Cool. So let's just go ahead and push all of our barriers down and acknowledge everyone and everything that is present with us on this call now and in the future, and everything the Maoris, the nature spirits in your area, whoever and whatever those might be, just really inviting all of them to be a part of this conversation now and to include our bodies in that conversation. Cool.
That's really cool, Monica, because as you asked the invitation, and that's part of talking with the native spirits that are working with the land, because a lot of them are not invited to what we are doing on the planet. A lot of the human reality is about going in there, cutting down the trees without actually saying, hey, look, we're doing something different. Can you contribute to this? And inviting the native spirits, including the nature spirits. There's like native and nature. But actually inviting them in on the conversation. It's often like we just bulldoze our way through.
Yeah, and again, with that sense of the space that that we can perceive and be listening to and communing with, I find that that kind of bulldozer mentality that is just like, I'm just looking at the thing that I have in my mind, that's what I want to do, like put up a house here and I'm going to cut down that tree, blah, 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 blah. But when you expand your zone of awareness, what does that create? And what can you be aware of into the future and into other times, and into that includes other spaces? So an example would be like, if you would like to put up a house in an area, what information do you require about the way that water flows through that area? Or about what the construction of that house will do for the rest of the land itself. Like, is it clay that the land is on, or, and not that we have to cognitize all of that, but really allowing yourself to expand your zone, not just in space, but in, I'm going to say time, even though time is kind of a funny subject for some people, but like expanding your zone to include all of creation, all of the awareness that you can possibly receive, to really be working with all of the energies and entities that can contribute to what you're creating.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to play being a man, but I've been brought up in this very logical reality where it's sort of like, I have an idea, I'm going to put it in place. Rather than, and now I'm really expanding that light and heavy thing. So it's like when I'm talking with nature spirits or native spirits or with the land, it's not so much like bulldozing my logical point of view onto that, or the decision that I'm going to create there. It's more, oh, this is light. Okay, cool. And with that lightness, my barriers go down and everything starts to expand out, and I can receive different energies and awarenesses, and it takes me to the next person or the next place or the next concept, quote unquote, awareness.
Right. It's interesting, what this brings up for me is this question of, what is it that we, with these bodies that we have right now, have access to that the native spirits don't have the same type of access to, or that the nature spirits don't have the same type of access to. We can be a voice for this larger conversation. We don't have to be. Many of us are not choosing to be, but we can be. And what is it that, like, how can we be creating together? And like, where can we really take advantage of the platform that we have with these bodies in this way, or with these voices that can speak to the humans, or can speak to the governments, or can speak to whatever it is. I'm really curious about that. Just like, all of a sudden I have a sense of all of these energies and entities in this conversation, and they may have been talking for a long time. I haven't always been listening, but as I begin to listen more and more and more, what else becomes possible?
Yeah, and I love that you bring up the bodies thing, because it is so vital that we include our bodies in that, and we include our bodies with those particular entities. Everybody here knows that I love mountain biking, and the other day I invited the nature spirits to jump on into my body and actually have a sense of what it is that is so fun about that for me. And they were just loving it. It's the way that I rode that bike that day was beyond anything I could possibly imagine. And the tree roots and the rocks and everything came up and met my bike and me, and pushed me into places that I would not normally go, but totally in a caring, nurturing way. And it's sort of like, oh, I'm going over the handlebars, and all of a sudden a rock would come up and push me back onto the onto the road, and it was just amazing. And so
Wow.
it's not a cognitive thing by any stretch of the imagination. It's literally lowering those barriers, receiving your body, receiving the nature spirits. And what questions can we be asking that would include our bodies and the spirits?
Cool. Is there any question that anybody has? Yeah. Bettina just put something up in the chat. So you talk with your body like it is an entity. Well, our bodies are entities. An entity is anything that is defined. And so your body is an entity. And then this body that has the fingers and toes that you're so familiar with is contributing to the body of the earth as well. And there are many other entities that live within and on your body. So the different little like microbes and stuff like that, each of those are entities and have their own consciousness. And those entities, just if you look at your body, like everything that's in your intestines, there are all of these little entities, and they're all working together with the whole of your body, just like we can be working together with the whole of the earth. So you can talk to your body as an entity. You can talk to any part of your body or of the different energies that are contributing to the vitality of your body. You can talk to all of those like entities. That's what comes from me. Liam, do you have any response to that question there?
Oh, well, that's a conversation that could go on for like days. Yeah. And, you know, I've been, most people know that I came into Access because of a disease, quote unquote. And recently I've just been having stuff coming up in my body, and it's just literally me talking to my body that is changing it and making it so much more ease, or full of ease, and getting more awareness, rather than going to the conclusion that there's something wrong with my body. And that has all been part of the planet as well, because my body apparently has this amazing capacity to either be healing the planet or be aware of particular energies that the planet requires. Often I'm, I'm in my head and not listening, so my body gives me a little bit more of a yell. And sometimes it's just an awareness, and I keep asking that question. Okay, so what does my body require? Does the planet require something here? And keeping the question with the body all the time. It's because to come to conclusion with any of that just means you kill it. I don't really want to kill my body anymore.
Congratulations. So it's cool, actually. Everybody go ahead and lower any barriers that any of this might have brought up. And let's just, again, invite all of those other energies and entities that would like to be a part of this conversation to be present with us. And do you notice anything with your body when we invite those other energies and entities to really step forward into the conversation? Are there nature spirits, native spirits, that know something about embodiment that can contribute to your embodiment? And would you allow them to show you what they know that might be different than what you know? And to speak directly to your body. Cool. And just like Liam was saying about, that his body has this capacity to heal the earth and be aware of what the earth might be requiring, what is your body capable of, and what contribution can your body be to the earth and to the nature spirits that you have not been acknowledging. And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. We all have access to such different energies. And it's like it really is all of us contributing to this planet that can be such a fertilizing gift to the creation of this world. You know, even your shit can help out.
Believe me, I know lots of shit stories. What's really been coming up for me lately is something that Gary Douglas said. Please don't quote me on my misquote of Gary, but there was something that came up during I think it was the COP in Noosa, and he was saying, like, I'm not dead yet because I'm not aware of everything. And now the energy with which he said it, and that's not what he said, but I'm just getting to the energy of it. It just bubbled up through me, and I went, wow. You know, like, awareness can be really good fun, and you can be aware of something different every day. It's like, it's not a place that we actually have to go to, and then that's the end of the story. It's like we get, like, with our bodies, you know, we get to this space, or this place where we've changed the body, the disease is finished, but there's much more awareness that you can have on from there as well. Or that you start talking with nature spirits, and all of a sudden they're popping out all over the place, and you're aware of the joy that many of them be. But that's not the end of the road. It's like, what else can I be aware of here? And so I've been asking that question more and more. What else can I be aware of here? What else can I be aware of? And that has added so much more joy, because it's sort of like that curiosity of a child. Oh, wow, there's that. Now, what if I do this? And be with the body of the planet, be with you bodies on this telecall, the nature spirits, the native spirits. Wow, it's just so big, it's so fun, it's so exciting.
Cool. Bettina, I sensed your questions right before you put something in the chat. So she said, without you, the earth will die. Gary said in advanced pragmatic psychology class 2 years ago. What did he mean by that? What do you know? It couldn't be that you're actually a contribution to the earth, could it? Couldn't possibly be that. That being you heals the earth. Yeah. Well, judgment definitely doesn't contribute as much as we might like. We've all been trying it for so long. Yeah.
Yeah. So everywhere where we have been trying to heal the earth through our judgments, could we now recant, rescind, revoke, reclaim, renounce, announce, destroy, and uncreate that throughout all our lifetimes that we've been either selling that idea or that we've bought that idea?
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short boys and beyonds. Cool. And let's put our hands up, those people that have tried it. I've done it. Every time you judge you're doing that. So, well.
I mean, everybody else was doing it.
Oh yeah, everybody else is judging, so I'll try and fit in and do the judgment too.
Right. It's so comfortable to judge, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I remember a story you told me. I think we were in Budapest or somewhere, hungry, and you were telling me how you were in this road rage. You had crossed the road or something, and somebody had pulled up, and they got all angry, and they blamed another driver, and then you sensed that blame and anger being projected at you, and then you had this choice of whether you could go back into judgment and throw some rage back at them, or it could stop with you, and you could choose something different, and you could just receive it and not actually be at the effect of it, and not project that into your future reality or onto the earth any longer.
Right.
Which is a beautiful story, because it certainly contributed to me, because it's like when we're talking with the earth, when we're doing stuff from judgment, like if we catch ourselves and we just go, okay, well, I've got a choice here. I can continue on with this judgment or this decision or being an asshole or whatever it is. What am I going to choose? Am I going to choose that, or am I going to choose something that's different? So what choices do you have when the judgment comes up in your reality? When you're judging something about the earth, trying to heal it when maybe it doesn't require healing, maybe it requires an energy. And then it becomes a choice to judge or not to judge. That is the question. Whether the arrows or blah, blah, blah.
Interesting. Some of what came up with what Bettina was saying about, being you heals the earth and the joy that you be. And there's this, so many people are trying so hard not to be themselves in order to fit in and do life right. And what does that create with your space? Do you have to contract yourself down to fit into the boxes that people have set out before you? Can you be the space that you be and still try and make yourself right? Or I'm curious about that. And, how much judgment do you have to use against you to not allow yourself to be you? And everything that brings up, can we destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And then, so truth, does the earth judge you? And would you be willing for a moment to allow yourself to perceive you as the earth perceives you? Would you be willing to receive the caring that the earth has for you? And it's funny right now, I'm like, gosh, what makes the nature spirit so joyful?
Well, maybe they don't do so much judgment.
Maybe they can receive some of the total gratitude for them, Like if you're a spirit that works with the plants and that nurtures the plants and is playing with the energy of the plants, and then the plants blossom, what a joy, that contribution. Oh my gosh, what fun. How cool is that? I mean, getting to see truly the fruits of your labor, like many of the nature spirits have access to, we also can have access to them. We also can talk to the plants. We also can work with the animals. We also can step into more and more of that. How much fun, how much fun would that be for you? Would you be interested in stepping into more of that? What is the nature spirit? It's a question.
Well, what if we leave people with that as something to play with over this year, because it's the new year, 2018. What question could you be with the nature spirits, and what could you invite them to, and what could you contribute to them and to the planet this year that is different?
Totally. And I just would like to invite you all. We have this Receiving from Nature Spirits Facebook page, and let this be a playground for us all. You are all invited to ask your questions there too, and to share what it is that you discover, and see, maybe there will be classes that come out of this. Maybe you'll make amazing documentaries and change the world with everything that you're inspired to create. Let's play.
I've actually been enjoying the page. It's like, especially some of the pictures that people have been sending in. It's been awesome. I love photography myself, so it's like, yeah, please play on page.
Thank you all so much for showing up and showing us your bright faces and your names and the squares that don't have faces. And thank you, Liam. It's so nice to see you. Right, they're being spaced. Good job, good job. It's nice to see you too, Liam. Happy New Year.
You too, Monica.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. All right, you ready to sign off?
I want to thank you, Monica and Liam, because I was so resistant to the subject. And the first video was you, Monica. I think you were in Europe months ago in the forest. You made a video, and since that, I just get some information, energies from nature spirits, and each time I try to listen or to podcast or to watch a video, I fell asleep. I had a call with you, Liam, a few weeks ago, the nature spirits exercise. It was the same. Each time I put on, I was up and I didn't remember what I have, what is it about. And I am here on vacation in the countryside, and it was a place I decided to open myself to that. And I just began to perceive that it is a whole universe so big, and it has nothing to do with all the things I believe from the books or people telling me about gnomes and fairies. It was not. And thank you both for your contribution to my life. And now I will open and receive from nature spirits and ask for their contribution whenever I am, even if it's in Paris or whenever in the world. So thank you, both of you, for your contribution.
Maybe we'll see you in Paris for the Talk to the Entities advanced class or facilitators class.
Yeah. Cool. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yay. Cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Next time. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.